Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are having an amazing year so far. I hope you guys have written down your goals, plans for the year. We are still in a pandemic, but that was our excuse for last year. So in 2021, let's just get the goals rolling, get the affirmations rolling, get everything together. But today I'm basically doing a chit chat get ready with me. I did do one during Vlogmas, but it was really rushed because I was on my way to go somewhere and I didn't really have time to sit down and talk. So what I'm going to do today is just talk to you guys about my experience so far with therapy, how I feel about it, do I like it, was it beneficial for me, things like that. So if you guys want to see me do my makeup and talk about my experience with therapy, then stay tuned. Alright guys, so let's get started. My bob is starting to get a little bit oily, but guys, when I first got it done, it was so cute. I used to be the bob queen back in high school. But yeah guys, let's just get started. I'm not going to do a walkthrough of the products that I'm using today because a lot of the stuff that I am using is actually new. So it's my first time trying it out. But yeah, I just wanted to do a chit chat get ready with me because the first one that I did was super rushed. It was during Vlogmas and I was actually headed out and I had to hurry up. So I decided to do another one. I got a few people actually reached out to me and said that they liked the chit chat get ready with me. They wanted to hear me talk about some more topics. So I figured me sitting down and doing my makeup is like a good time for me to talk, open up and stuff like that. Today's topic is about my experience with therapy. So I actually started going to therapy back in 2019. My husband and I basically started going together as like marriage counseling because we got married that December in 2019. So it was basically marriage counseling, and then what happened after that was we continued to go because we found it beneficial. So fast forward to 2020, the pandemic, all types of stuff, guys. All types of stuff was happening. Oh, I like this foundation so far. But a lot of stuff was just happening. Like you guys know, a lot of people was going through things in 2020 related to the pandemic, not being able to see their families, not being able to travel, not being able to do like, their normal routine basically. So we continued to go and I really felt as though it was beneficial to us because we are like sort of completely opposite. So he's an extrovert and I'm an introvert. So me being home all the time, I didn't really mind the lockdown. I didn't really feel like I was missing out on anything. But he's really a people person. He loves to laugh. He loves to interact with others. He loves to talk. He loves to go out. So, he was having a hard time with not being able to do those things, But anyways, I'm drifting away. Fast forward to the spring of 2020 when all this crazy stuff started happening with the coronavirus. We basically decided that it was time for me to start going by myself. And I mean, he was encouraging me to do that for a while, but I just didn't really want to do it. Like I didn't really feel as though I had any problems to face. I didn't feel as though anything was wrong. And in reality, I just really didn't want to deal with my issues. Like I just didn't want to take the next step because it involves other people, and I didn't really feel like confronting these people, talking to them. I'm not going to say any names because I just feel like I'm not at the point where I'm ready to share my story. So I'm just going to leave, you know, certain details out, but I'll still try to be as transparent as possible. But anyways, I decided to finally take him up on his offer, so we stopped going together, and then I started going to sessions by myself. So this was, I want to say April or May, I started going on my own. So April or May of 2020, I started going to therapy on my own. So we started talking about things, you know, that happened in my life, my personal life, outside of the marriage, outside of the relationship, just, you know, my life. So my therapist, she calls it homework. So every time you come to a session, you leave with homework. You get an assignment, and it's something that you have to do, you know. So once I started going on my own, she started to ask me questions, and I was forced to open up. Now, if you know me, talking in general is not something that, I'm not going to say it's not something that I like to do, but like expressing my feelings, talking about personal issues, acknowledging that there is something wrong is not the easiest thing for me to do. So this whole experience with therapy, it really took a lot of effort. Like, it really took a lot out of me, because I wasn't embarrassed because it's just me and the therapist, but at the same time, this is things that happened to me that I never talked about. Like, never talked about with anybody aside from my husband and maybe 2 other people, honestly. So, and mind you, those 2 other people are like people that are close to me, so it's easier for me to open up to them. The therapist is sort of like a stranger in a way, so it's just harder to say certain things, harder to open up. You don't know how someone's going to look at you or how they're going to feel about you, you know. So I don't know, it just was difficult. But I had to basically trust that everything that my therapist was having me do was for a reason. And child, this eye pencil's all over the place. I had to also listen to what my husband was saying and basically just face everything, you know. Long story short, the start of everything was not easy. It really wasn't. But each week I would go back. So instead of going bi-weekly like we used to go, I started going weekly. So I was seeing my therapist once a week. And every week, my therapist gave me homework. And alright, so I'm not going to go into detail with everything, but I'm still going to tell you guys pretty much everything. Y'all can piece it together. I'm just not saying certain things because my intentions are not to be, you know, malicious or offensive to anyone, but at the same time I do want to share my experience because I feel like other people may have went through the same things. And when I came on Instagram and when I look up, like when I search certain topics, for example, experiences with therapy or with therapy as a black woman, a black wife, whatever the case is, you don't see too many videos. So you don't have too many black women, I should say, that are actually going to therapy and sharing their experience. I will say I see on Instagram now that there's a lot of women that are actually doing the inner work and they are going to therapy. They are speaking with someone about, you know, things that are going on in their life or things that have gone on in their life. So I did feel like it would be beneficial for me to talk about my experience. Okay, so enough of the jibber jabber. I will say, since I've started going to therapy, I definitely see a huge improvement in my attitude, in my mood. Like some days I would just feel like unmotivated, or I'll just feel like, oh my gosh, same routine, like I don't feel like dealing with certain things. And I feel like a lot of that was stemming from me having a guilty conscience. And honestly, my guilty conscience, it might sound silly to y'all, but it basically was coming from me feeling bad about not being around my family, not interacting with my family, just kind of like going AWOL. But honestly, people might see that I stopped coming around, or I stopped calling, or I stopped doing this and stopped doing that, but I just feel like not a lot of people took the time to reach out and say, well, I haven't seen, they call me Candy. I'm gonna just give you guys, speak like we're in real terms. They call me Candy, so I haven't seen Candy. I wonder what, is going on with her and things like that. But basically I had a guilty conscience about that. So I feel like me speaking to my therapist about why I wasn't going around, why I did not feel comfortable, why I didn't want to be around that energy, I feel like that allowed me to, make some sort of peace, because I did do my homework that my therapist gave me. And basically, one of my homework assignments was to either A, talk to my mom on my own, or B, bring her in for a session to where me and my therapist, we could talk together. So I went with option B, and even though I procrastinated, I think she gave me the assignment in like September, and I don't think I actually did it until November. I did it after my birthday, so my birthday is the 24th, so closer to December. I did it like I did it after my birthday, so it was close to the first week in December. But I finally did my homework, and I reached out to my mom. I said, I've been going to therapy, and I've been going for almost a year now, and my therapist suggested that you should join in on the sessions. So she didn't respond to my invitation. She didn't respond to, come to therapy with me. So I feel like there was a lot of things that needed to be discussed in that meeting, but because she didn't show up, we couldn't talk about those things. And that kind of just wiped out my feelings of, feeling guilty for not going around. Like my therapist told me that I have a valid reason to feel the way that I do, and I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do. And sometimes I could be a real people pleaser, so I have a hard time saying no. I have a hard time, I guess, sometimes being viewed in a negative light, although I'm getting better with that. These days, I'm just trying to focus on my own internal happiness. I'm focusing on the family that I am building. So right now, it's just me and my husband. We don't have any kids, but I'm just focusing on myself, and I'm focusing on us. I no longer feel guilty about, not being around my family, because I just feel like I did my part now. Like before, I was half-assing with my therapy. I wasn't doing my homework. And what I will say is, when you go to therapy, if you don't plan on taking it serious, if you don't plan on fully opening up, if you don't plan on, you know, trusting your therapist to actually help you with your life goals and your internal, you know, feelings and things like that, if you don't trust it, if you don't believe in it, you might want to hold off until you do. Because I'm just speaking from my own perspective. When I first started going, I feel like I wasn't taking it serious. Like, I feel like it did take me some time to open up and actually take it serious, because you know how we look at stuff sometimes. I've suggested therapy to a number of my friends, and they'll say, oh, that's not going to help me, that's not going to do anything for me. And you know, for some time I felt the same way, so I didn't feel like they were saying anything wrong. But now that I'm speaking from my own experience, I think that it can be very beneficial if you take it seriously. You know, if you actually are planning on really making changes. Like, sometimes in life you have to work on yourself. Like, you want everybody around you to be a better person, but you don't want to change anything about yourself. Like, you can't just sit and think that you're perfect. Like, once I started taking it seriously, once I started actually doing my homework, once I started to do what my therapist told me to do and stop feeling like, you know, oh, that's not going to work, oh, that's not going to do anything. Once I stopped thinking that I knew it all, then that's when I started to see results from therapy. I feel like you have to go in there with set intentions, and like everything else, nothing is going to happen, nothing's going to change if you don't do the work. So you can go sit and listen to someone give you advice, but what is advice really going to do for you if you don't take heed? If you just think you know everything and you just continue to do what you want, continue to have a poor attitude or a negative mindset, like what is therapy going to do for you? So I feel like I've had such a like, for the last maybe 5 months of 2020, I've had a different outlook on life. I try to look at the positives with everything, because although we were and still are going through a global pandemic, I feel like there's a good and a bad in everything in life. So how I first felt when the pandemic started, okay, everything's locked down, our business was shut down, we were told not to visit this person, not to visit that person, didn't see friends for a while. So those were a few negatives, but at the same time I got a break from work, which was much needed. I rested so much. Not only did I get a break from work, but I got to spend time with my husband, and we had just got married. So getting married and then coming right back home, and now you're in a pandemic, we didn't really get to live like a newlywed experience, but we did get to spend tons of time together, which I truly did enjoy. I will definitely say therapy, if you feel as though things in your life, or even if things are going well for you, you feel like you don't have any issues, you don't have any problems, you can still go to therapy. I feel like therapy is beneficial for everyone. I feel like if you're at a standstill and you need to reset and cleanse your mind, go to therapy. Talk to a therapist, talk to a professional. We vent to our friends, we talk to our friends, but I don't care how good of advice your friends give, they're not professionals unless you're friends with a an actual therapist. If you haven't tried it, I know how you feel. I know that you might think it will not be beneficial for you, but honestly, the cliche saying, don't knock it till you try it. In this case, don't knock it till you try it. Seriously. Like, I was really not even pandemic related. I was really like in a funk, like, and I could not get out of it. Like, I could not find motivation to do certain things. Like, I don't know, couldn't do it because that burden was just sitting on my shoulder and it just would not go away. Like, every day I was thinking about the same thing. And until I acknowledged it, until I tried to deal with it, until I did my part, that's when things started to get better for me. That's when I started to feel like, you know, I did what I had to do. I did my part. So there's no need for me to feel guilty anymore. There's no need for me to, you know, be upset about it, because there's nothing that I can do. Like, there's nothing for me to do. Focus on the things that I can do. And once we moved on from that topic, that was it. We started talking about different things. So now it's like, okay, my mind is clearing up. I can talk about things that are important to me, you know? Not that that wasn't important to me. It just was such a negative situation that I really did not want to deal with it. Like, it really took everything in me for me to make the steps and do what I had to do. But now that I'm past it, I'm actually quite proud. I'm actually happy, I can say, because I don't have to think about that anymore. Like, I don't even think about it. So going from having something haunting your mind every day to now I don't even think about it. Like, I might think about it every once in a while, but I'm telling you guys, I was literally thinking about it every single day. Like, oh my gosh. So I know you guys, sometimes things are hard to talk about. Sometimes you really don't want to talk about it. You really don't want to open up about it. And that's me. That is literally me. Like, if I don't have to share it, I won't. But now I'm just starting to open up about, you know, more and more, because it helps me to actually talk, you know. And then when I open up and I talk about things, I find that other people actually relate. And that's something that I probably would not have started doing had I not, you know, invested into therapy. But yeah, guys, so far here in 2021, it is now day 10. I haven't seen my therapist yet this year because she's in the process of transitioning to a new office. So I probably won't be seeing her until the end of the month. My topics for this year in therapy and my goals for this year in general, I want to focus on my career this year. I want to focus on living life. So we are in a pandemic, but there are still places that you can travel to with restrictions, of course. To basically wrap up my overall experience with therapy, best thing I could have done, honestly. Like, people say that, but really, just try therapy, guys. There's really no other way that I can say it. Like, I know you guys see posts on Instagram where a lot of people are advocating for it now, which is great. A great way to spread awareness, a great way to show people that there are options out here. There are things you can do, you know. And honestly, no matter what's going on in your life, It could be depression, it could be anxiety. Like, just because you go to therapy, just like I was saying before, like, you have to really do the inner work. I was getting anxious because of why? Because my conscience was guilty. So once I was able to get those things off my conscience, I didn't feel guilty anymore, you know? So that lowered my stress level, lowered my anxiety. And it's not necessarily the therapist that does that for you, but what she does, or he, what they do is open your eyes, open your mind. They ask you questions that you don't think about. But I think the most beneficial part for me is the homework. Like, being told, okay, you have until our next session to do this. And my therapist, she'll tell me, like, you know, you can do this, you can do that, you can half-ass, you can do whatever, but if you do not take it serious, what's going to change? She'll tell you. But therapists in general are pretty honest. They are going to tell you like it is. They're not going to sugarcoat things, which is why it's better to talk to a therapist than to, you know, talk to a friend. Because sometimes, even if your friend is being honest, this is too harsh. Even if your friend is being honest with you, sometimes they'll leave things out because they don't want to hurt your feelings. I do that. I like to be as transparent as possible, but sometimes whatever you have to say, it just might be offensive, or it just might not be what the person wants to hear. So you leave it out. You don't want to hurt your friend's feelings. So that's why I would recommend therapy, y'all. So my goals for this year, pretty much the same as 2020. This year, I don't want any negative energy around me. Like, I'm really not sorry about that. I don't want to be around people that are just negative Nancy's, always complaining, always have something going on. Because at this point in life, it's just like there's so many resources, there's so many different things that you can do. Even if you feel like therapy is not the first step for you, you can read books, like you can watch YouTube videos, you can even talk to somebody that you trust, like before you make the leap or stride and say, okay, I'm going to do therapy, you know. But this year, I don't want to be around it. I decided I don't want to be around it. Yes, I decided this year I do not want to be around the negativity. So, guys, if you want to remain friends in 2020, get your ass together. Get it together. Now, as I continue to go to therapy and we talk about different topics, then I'll check back in. I'll let you guys know how I am doing. But I really feel like my experience so far was a very positive one. Like, I'm very happy with my progress so far. I'm very happy with how I'm feeling in general. Like, now when I wake up in the morning, I actually look forward to starting my day. Like I said, I don't have those negative thoughts anymore. I do think about it from time to time because it just, you know, it is what it is. But honestly, it doesn't haunt me every day anymore. So if you feel like there's something on your mind that you really need to get off, you really need to talk about, you really need, you know, just an outlet, honestly, consider therapy. Please consider therapy. If you're anxious, consider therapy. If you're depressed, consider therapy. If you're happy, consider therapy. Because things could always get better. Just like they say things could always be worse, it could be better too. So all right guys, so this is the finished look. This hair is so greasy now, but I swear when I first got it done, it still looks cute, but when I first got it done, it was super duper cute. But yeah guys, thank you for tuning into this video. Thank you for watching. I'm getting ready to put some clothes on and take these photos for my friend. I'm actually not going anywhere tonight. It's Sunday, I gotta work tomorrow, but I do still need to take those pictures. And also let me know how you guys like my new camera quality. I can't tell when it's on the camera, so I'll have to transfer it when I edit. But I'm just playing with the lights right now. I'm playing with the settings. I haven't decided what settings I want to keep it on, so but I do like how clear this looks today, so I'm going to do a little bit more research and decide what I want to do with that. But yeah guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video today. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you guys are considering going to therapy, if you have, and what your experience was. I do plan on sharing my story with y'all one day. I don't know when that will be. Hopefully soon, because I have a lot to say. I have a lot to talk about. But yeah guys, thank you for tuning into this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.